Very good luck to you all. We'll reveal the winner at the end of the show as ever. Now, enough of all our nonsense. Charlotte Wyatt, remember the little girl, she's 2 now actually, she was born very premature and is profoundly handicapped as a result. I think most people are aware of this story. The doctors won an order, a court order, not to resuscitate Charlotte if she required it because they felt it would cause her more pain and wouldn't actually improve the outcome, which they think is very bleak for her. But her parents are in court today for the 3rd time asking the court to overturn this. They say it's like living with a death sentence over their child. They say she's progressed beyond what the doctor's expectations were, that she smiles at them, and that she does have a quality of life. And they're very, very vehement about it. Is it perhaps time for the doctors to say, OK, maybe we've got this one wrong? You know, maybe it's...
No, because I think they would have said we got it wrong. If it's true what the parents say, if it was true that she can hear a bit now, that she can see a bit now, and that she's smiling and feeling, I think if that was the case, the doctors would be the very first people to come out and say so. Doctors don't want to kill kids. It's the last thing they want to do. And I think if Charlotte had made the improvements that her parents think she has, the doctors would be the first to say, yeah, we were. They might not say we were wrong, they might, but what they would say is this child has improved enormously and completely amazed us all, and it's fantastic. But they haven't said that, and I think that's very telling.
Kim?
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand how hard it must be for the parents and everything, but as a parent myself, I wouldn't want my child to go through pain, and if that was going to be the outcome for the rest of that child's life, you would have to seriously sit there and have a long, hard think about it.
I mean, I do agree with Kim, but having said that, being the parent, I know I'd want to do everything to keep it alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I surprised myself, actually, because I kind of go against all of you. My head, you know, agrees with you, Carol, but my heart really doesn't, and I think maybe it is time for the doctors, in this case the wee girls too, to say, OK, this is this parent's child. Once you've had a child for 2 years, they're your baby, and I think maybe it's time for them to make the decision. But anyway, it opens up a huge can of worms, if that's not a bad phrase, and we're going to be discussing it after the break. But we do have to take a short break. We'll be back in a moment when we'll be joined by Jo Kingsley, the mother who's written a very personal account of how she dealt with her daughter's battle with anorexia. We'll see you then. Welcome back to Thursday with This Woman. Coming up very soon, Coronation Street, Scylla will be revealing all about her wedding to Les. Wendy Peters will be here to tell us all about it. We were talking about bad hair earlier. There's Jenny from Inverness. She says, after dyeing my mousy hair blonde, I thought it would be fun to do my pubic hair as well. I hadn't considered, and this is something to bear in mind, ladies, if you're considering doing this at home, and I thoroughly recommend it, frankly, go and do it. But remember the difference in hair texture. They turned out bright orange, and Jenny had to trim them off before her husband saw them. Didn't want him to be an amber gambler.
You've got all the sayings. This is from Jenny in Macclesfield. After the birth of my 2 children, I was left with spaniel ears breasts. Oh, no, you feel.
That's what yours are like, isn't it?
Yeah. I really wanted them lifted, listen to this, and made a bit more pert, which is what you want. Unfortunately, I went on one of those plastic surgery holidays, that sounds nice, to Bulgaria. I was left with lopsided boobs that cost me thousands to correct, never again. So you be warned.
I'm not going
We don't want you coming in here like that.
I won't go Bulgaria, don't worry.
Dear, dear, dear. What's that joke about? You had one on your head, paint it blue and pretend you're a policeman. Not a good joke, I admit.
It's hard to say that.
Anyway, let's pick up the discussion we were talking about earlier, the case of... Well, not so much the case of Charlotte Wyatt, because the little girl, it's very difficult to discuss these cases, because we only really know what the media allows us to know, don't they? But, I mean, it does raise a question of what is a valuable life? Because medical science is progressing at such a rate, you know, it would appear that we're going to be in a position somewhere down the line that we can almost screen out disability. And it is a fear that some people have that we're going to have a perfect race, or there's going to be some kind of desire for a perfect race.
It isn't about screening out, though, is it? It's about someone being born, and you know, years ago, before medical science was as advanced as it is, the child would not have survived. Because of what we have now in terms of medicine, children do survive. Perhaps the children that shouldn't, you know, in nature with animals like, you know, that aren't perfect die.
But we're well past that,
But yes, of course we are well past that. We're not. In this new act, this assisted dying act, it's not about killing people who aren't perfect. It's about killing people who don't have a quality of life. If you can't see, hear, feel, love, be loved, what is the point?
But see, we'll never know. And I'm saying not talking about Charlotte specifically, but she's loved. I mean, that child is loved. I mean, there's no question about that. Her parents care for her and adore her.
But she's
not
going
to pass her O-levels.
It's not about her being a bit brain damaged. She's globally brain damaged. And that happened last year. She got a virus, and she got lots of viruses after she was born. So we're not talking about someone who was just a bit slow. We're talking or someone who was we're talking about someone who was globally brain damaged. She will never be able to do anything.
But surely all her parents want is for her to be fought for in the same way that you would fight for any sick child, you know, rather than, you know, just pulling out the drawbridge and saying it's a waste of time. I mean, and I'm not saying this to be catty, but I wonder if you would feel different. You've said it yourself. If you had a child, I wonder if you'd feel different.
It's true. I don't have a child, and I don't know what I would do if I had a child. But what I do know is if it was me, and if something happened to me that made me unable to enjoy life, if I became brain damaged, if I became physically very damaged, I wouldn't want to be around. I really wouldn't. And that's because I'm a coward, actually. It's because I don't think I have the moral fibre to live life that way. So for me, maybe I couldn't make a decision on my child, but for me, and I've discussed this with my husband, that if anything happens to me, I'm even about to join a group that if I became terminally ill, God forbid, if something happened to me, I could take my own life, because I actually think it's a big thing to ask anyone else to do for you. And this is an organisation that tells you what to do to make it happen quickly and painlessly. And yeah, it might sound morbid, but it's not as morbid as living 2 or 3 years in agony or in pain.
Has that ever crossed your mind? It's
Well,
never crossed my mind.
The only reason it has for me now is because, as I've said before, my mum has Alzheimer's, and she's at the end stage of it, really. She has no quality of life. She's such in mental anguish and turmoil, and it's ripping our family apart. And knowing my mother, how she used to be, she would, if she was conscious of it, she would hate the situation she's in now. She doesn't have a quality of life.
What do you think she would need to do if
I think now, if she'd have been told, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, this is how you're going to end up, she would never have let herself get to this situation, because she was very independent. She was very private as far as being undressed in front of anyone. And now all that dignity's gone, really. You know, she has to be washed, dressed, you know, she's incontinent. We go and do everything for her, and she's in this home, and we go and visit her. And it isn't my mum anymore.
So has it changed
makes me cry. It's the most heartbreaking thing I've ever had to face.
But has it changed the way you think about what you would do if something ever happened to you?
Absolutely. It's made me think, you know, if I ever get a hint that that's how I'm going to end up, I want to die. I don't want to end up like that. I really don't want to end. And I don't, more than anything, I don't want to put my family through it. I can't bear it.
But, I mean, you can't really make that decision for your family, can you? Because, I mean, they will want to look after you. You know, you can't say, I mean, and my mum has said this to me, you know, give me the blue pill, just, you know, well, she hasn't said forget about me, she says you better look after me or I'll kill you. But, you know, she can say all these things in the state that she's in just now, but